You're listening to the Multifamily Marketwatch for Washington State. Apartment owners who need to know, trust HFO, the leading source for multifamily industry news around the state, from Puget Sound to the Tri-Cities.
Welcome back to HFO Multifamily Marketwatch for Washington State. I'm your host, Aaron Kirk Douglas. This Multifamily Marketwatch is co-sponsored by Gantry Inc., the nation's largest independent mortgage broker, and by J.R. Johnson, experts in multifamily restoration and repair work. Construction financing is in short supply, likely significantly reducing deliveries between 2025 and 2027. With the construction hitting bottom in 2026, Yardi Matrix indicates that this U.S. housing supply shortage will likely last 10 more years, supporting additional rent growth and capital appreciation. And even as more states and cities work to encourage the construction of duplexes and triplexes, the U.S. Census Bureau has recently reported that only around 2,000 duplexes were constructed throughout the country last year. According to Yardi Matrix, regulatory costs now account for 40% of the costs of new multifamily developments, with high-cost jurisdictions oblivious to the danger to supply. Still, the report hopes that political will to do something about that may happen soon. Yardi also predicts transactions will continue to slow until inflation is under control, with increasing distress visible in the market. And while they predict interest rates will come down in the third quarter of 2024, the New York Times recently reported that Federal Reserve officials are projecting rates flat at 5.5% through 2024, lowering to around 5% in 2025, and perhaps lowering to around 3.5% in 2026. Throughout the country, operating expenses for multifamily properties are increasing significantly, up 5.5% in 2022 and an additional 8.5% in 2023. Portland's operating expenses are up 10% this year, while Seattle's operating expenses are up 5.5%. Reports published in Western Real Estate Business Magazine indicate that some of the best ways to improve income and operating efficiencies during this time of rising expenses includes providing superior customer service and technology upgrades. Recommended tech upgrades include property-wide internet and cable bundles, smart home thermostats, keyless entry alarms, and plumbing leak sensors. On August 30th, Judge Timothy Ashcraft of the Pierce County Superior Court made a significant decision. He ruled that the City of Tacoma's Measure 2, a tenant protection measure crafted by the City Council that was competing with Measure 1, will not be on the November ballot. What does Tacoma Initiative 2023-1 entail? Pushed by tenant advocates, this initiative, if approved by the voters, could profoundly impact the housing industry in Tacoma. Critics argue that it could challenge the provision of quality multifamily homes, adversely impact existing housing units, and hinder the development of new homes in the city. Here are some of the key points from that initiative. Move-in fees would be limited to 1 month. Other allowed fees would include a screening fee and a pet fee. Late fees of $10 a month maximum would be allowed. As far as rent increase notices, 2 notifications would be required, one between 6 and 7 months before an increase, and a second notice 3 to 4 months prior. Relocation assistance would be required as follows. Any rent increase of less than 7.5% would require a payment to the tenant of 2 times monthly rent. A rent increase of 7.5% or more would require 2.5 times the monthly rent, and a rent increase of more than 10% would require a relocation fee of 3 times the monthly rent. There would be no appeal process and no means testing allowed. The ordinance would prohibit evictions during the school year for students, educators, and anyone associated with the school. Additionally, no evictions of anyone would be allowed from November 1st to April 1st due to cold weather. A new protected class of renters who could not be evicted include the military, first responders, seniors, healthcare providers, educators, or any of their family members residing in the unit of one of these protected classes. Supporters of Tacoma for All and Tacoma Initiative 2023-1 have already initiated their grassroots campaign with door-to-door outreach and information sessions. On the other hand, groups opposing the measure, including the Washington Multifamily Housing Association, the Tacoma Pierce County Chamber, Tacoma Pierce County Association of Realtors, and others, have allocated substantial funds to challenge this ballot initiative, but Tacoma residents will begin receiving their ballots soon after October 20th, the mailing date, and polls indicate a divided voter base. If you are interested in learning more about this, contact the Washington Multifamily Housing Association. The Washington Center for Real Estate Research at the University of Washington has released its latest apartment report. This survey of more than 24,000 apartment units throughout every county of the state indicates that year-over-year rent growth was about 0 in the Puget Sound area and 3% around the rest of the state. Meanwhile, vacancy rates statewide have stagnated at 5%, and outside of Puget Sound, the vacancy rate was lower at 3.8%. New apartment deliveries throughout Puget Sound slowed drastically in the first 5 months of 2023, with only 337 units being built in King County through May. That's down from almost 6,000 units last year. Rents are expected to increase with Amazon enforcing its mandate to return to the office 3 days a week. And speaking of apartment deliveries, here are some new apartment projects currently underway in Seattle. The City of Seattle has approved the design of a 455-unit, 44-story apartment tower on the former home of the Elephant Car Wash at 7th and Denny Way. Holland Partner Group of Vancouver has applied for a construction permit and is awaiting its approval. A 13-story prefab apartment tower is set to rise on a quarter-block lot in Belltown, where Lighting Supply has operated for 60 years. The project architect is Epstein of Chicago, with Poland owner and construction manager Cavatina at the project's helm. Cavatina emphasizes sustainable construction, and its projects are located primarily in Poland with other projects in Western Europe. This is its first project in the United States. IPB Properties has a 16-story, 221-unit apartment tower named Belltown on First in the works. This half-block project is on the east side of First Avenue between Cedar and Clay Streets. This project will join 2 other similar-sized developments currently under construction nearby. The 29-story Confidential Tower, which is being built by Security Properties, and the K Apartments, a 31-story asset built by Skanska. Meanwhile, in nearby Tacoma, a 12-story, 223-unit apartment project known as the Star Residence Apartments are expected to begin construction in November. The site overlooks downtown and the Tacoma Dome, and its building costs are projected at $70 million, or $329,000 per unit. Also in Tacoma, developer Eli Moreno has acquired the 75,000-square-foot Spark Park building across the street from Tacoma's Old City Hall, which he is redeveloping. That is located on Commerce Street. The developer plans to include a covered rooftop event space and 20 apartments on the upper floors with retail, restaurant, offices, exhibit space, and a basement bar. You can stay up to date with the latest from the Washington State multifamily industry by following our blog at hfore.com and by subscribing to the HFO Multifamily Marketwatch podcast. See you back here with more Washington news in 2 weeks.
Our entire office specializes in multifamily real estate, making HFO the largest multifamily brokerage in the Pacific Northwest. Your success is our passion. Build your legacy with HFO. Call 503-241-5541 or visit our website at hfore.com for more information. HFO is an affiliate of the Global Real Estate Advisor Network.